I was not paid to make this video, nor was I paid to promote any products, but I would like to thank North Beach Windsurfing for sharing some demo gear with me for a couple of weeks.
This is the largest hydrofoil wing that I've ever flown. This is the S-Type 2400 from Starboard Foils.
In a prior video, I reviewed the Starboard E-Type 1700. In that review, I unboxed and set up a starboard foil for the first time and shared that experience as well as some observations. I will include a link to that video in the description. In summary, this is a nicely designed and built foil with a nice fit and finish. For the first time, I saw a feature that Starboard Foils uses called the Quick Lock HD. This feature allows for quick setup and take apart of the foil. This is used to attach the tailpiece to the fuselage and to attach the front wing to the fuselage. In both of these cases, a half turn on the pressure bolt releases or locks in the front wing or tailpiece using the same Torx 30 head. Besides being very large, the S-Type 2400 has three main attributes that jump out. Number one, a double concave gull wing shape. Number two, an anhedral shape, meaning it's curved downwards. And number three, wingtips pointed down. This is the S-Type 2400. This is the largest hydrofoil wing that I've flown by area at 2400 square centimeters. Its wingspan is only 100 centimeters, making the aspect ratio somewhat lower at 4.2. It's been months since I've been on a low aspect ratio wing, so I'm excited to get back and see how it compares to the largely high aspect ratio wings that I've been riding the last few months. We will compare the S-Type 2400 to three wings. The first wing is the E1700 that we discussed in a prior video. The next is the Axis 1150, which is similar in area to the E-Type 1700. And the third is the Axis 1020, which is comparable wingspan and is Axis's largest wing to compare to the S-Type 2400. The S-Type 2400 was very easy to launch on the bungee, given its large area. Similar to the E-Type 1700, the anhedral shape wants to roll, meaning you need to precisely pump to not initiate a roll that wants to keep on rolling. I find lower aspect ratio wings to have a slower pumping speed. There's just more drag and they don't want to glide as far, and I found this in the case of the S-Type 2400. And as a consequence of the higher drag, these wings take more energy to pump. Besides having a large area, the 2400 had a large volume, and it was quite buoyant. In fact, it really wanted to float and would tip over my 11-liter board. We compared the pumping speed of these two starboard wings, the 1700 and the 2400. In this test, the S2400 did pump faster, but I expect with practice, I would be able to pump the E1700 faster. We then compared the largest area wing from Axis and the largest area wing from Starboard to see how their pumping speed compared. In this test, I found the pumping speed of both wings to be similar. The Axis 1150 is a fast wing, so I wanted to test its pumping speed against the 2400 to see how they compared. The Axis 1150 had a higher pumping speed than the S-Type 2400 from Starboard. I wanted to compare the gliding distance of the two largest wings from Axis and Starboard. Here you'll see that the 1020 had a longer gliding distance than the S-Type 2400. This might be a result of its higher aspect ratio and lower area as compared to the S-Type 2400. The Axis 1150 is one of the best gliding wings that I've had the chance to fly. You can see here how much further it glides than the S-Type 2400. Perhaps its higher aspect ratio and lower area reduces the drag significantly, allowing it to glide much further. The double concave shape combined with the wingtips down make this an easy foil to carve. A small rolling action and the roll wants to keep on going, and you yaw the board to make a tight carve. And as you can see later in the outing, the carving was very easy. The larger area and low aspect size of this wing made it pump somewhat slower than the high aspect wings I'd been riding. I didn't notice until I watched the video, but you can see that the nose looks pitched down more than normal. I think this large area just generates so much lift I needed to reduce angle of attack to accommodate it. At slow speeds pumping, this wing felt quite stable, which makes sense given its huge area of 2400 square centimeters. But its anhedral wing shape does require very precise pumping because once you start to roll, it will want to keep on rolling. This wing had plenty of lift and could easily surf the second wake. But due to the higher drag, it drifted back from the sweet spot, and I found myself needing to pump to move it back into the sweet spot. This larger area just has more drag, and over time I would drift further back on the wake, requiring me to pump to get back to the sweet spot. Similar to the E-Type 1700, I had to get used to pumping this anhedral wing. And as the session progressed, I got better and better and felt more and more comfortable. And here I'm just experimenting with different pumping cadence, try to find a more optimal cadence for pumping this wing. One of the tests I like to perform is accelerating from the second wake to the first wake without the vessel slowing down. I found this difficult to do with this wing, probably just because of its lower pumping speed, and I did find it took more energy than I was used to. The speed goes up, the drag goes up, meaning there's bigger pull force from the vessel, but the lift goes up as well, and I find I needed to pitch my nose way down to unload that wing from all the lift it wanted to generate. It's been months since I've flown a large area, low aspect wing like the S-Type 2400. Given its large area, this wing is easy to launch. This means it's good for dock starts and water starts. I expected this wing to have much slower pumping speed given its area, but it performed quite well. The 2400 is a large area, low aspect wing, and it takes a lot of energy to pump. I feel like I tire out in about half the time as compared to a high aspect ratio wing. While I found the anhedral shape challenging to pump, the flip side is the ease of carving. For such a large area wing, the 2400 was nice to carve. In summary, for beginners learning to foil, this is a good wing for you. Lots of lift, easy to start, and nice carving. For larger riders, more than 100 kilograms, I believe this wing generates enough lift for you to enjoy the lake. Pumping is an intermediate skill. If you're learning to pump, I'd recommend a less anhedral shaped wing that is more forgiving to learn on.